the ball out of his hand.
Yep, they're trying to take something away from this, and right on cue, an interception and a touchdown for Xavier McKinney.
Donald in motion out of the backfield. And a quick throw and a quick hit by Xavier McKinney.
Play action. Pass is tipped, and it's going to be picked off far side. McKinney again, his second interception, and there he goes. Alabama to the house once again.
Slot. Alinsky scans the field, goes to the end zone. It's intercepted by Xavier McKinney. Throwing it away. Xavier McKinney got to Quentin Harris.
Wyatt Fury, I think the local headline was, for Bugs.
First throw of the second half is picked off. In stride, that's Xavier McKinney making the interception.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's UK Cowboys TV. We're back again for another week. It is episode 47 of season 1, and it is once again an all-Celt class. Look at it, yeah. We've got double Scotland with Paul and Graham. We've got Ireland with Brian, whose camera's a little bit fuzzy at the moment, but I'm sure that'll break through. And myself from Wales, Michael, your host. And yeah, we're back again, guys. So how are we all doing after another week of isolation? Are we all going stir crazy yet?
I bought a drum kit.
Stir crazy then.
Aye.
How are you, Greg? You all right down there?
Yeah, good. Finding
Man a few words.
it's when you drive to your local supermarket and have to wait half an hour just to get in the store that really brings
Yeah.
into perspective.
That is an interesting experience, to say the least, yeah. I'm sure the people in America are like, what are you all on about? We've been doing this for weeks. It's fine. But yeah, for us, it's something relatively new. We're into... What are we in? Are we in the first week of it? How many weeks?
Yeah, that's been a week.
We're in the last
4 in Ireland.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
4.
Brutal.
4, yeah.
That is brutal, Brian.
How
Yeah.
many has not killed each other yet?
Well, don't
As they
mention
say,
that.
the divorce rates and the birth rates are going to go through the roof in December this year.
Yeah, very true.
I was going to say something. I was going to say, don't mention the French. That's everything's happened in there right now.
Yeah, but right, you guys, have you got anything interesting? I mean, we'll start round the house, so we're going alphabetical order. What does that mean, Brian? Any interesting news for us that has happened in the last week? I know free agency has calmed down a lot in the last week, which is interesting. Although we have added someone, which I'll add in a moment. But any interesting information that have
No, I think coming out of free agency now, I think we have a lot clearer picture of where we're heading in the draft class. The two areas I think that we have outstanding are cornerback and defensive end, and that kind of looks like stronger areas in this draft class. I know there's someone that Paul is dying to talk about. So I'll talk about the other one and say I didn't expect the Greg Zuerlein signing over the weekend. I think it's interesting they've brought him in, that we're going to have a kicking competition. I think it's a bit unfortunate on Forbat that he kicked 10 out of 10 last season in the last 3 games. He was solid. They seem to be doubting his abilities. But McCarthy seems to be building up the roster very, very nicely, addressing areas of need and covering himself off that when we go into the draft and when McClay takes things on, that we're getting the best player available rather than the best player at the position of need.
Yeah. What do you make of the Greg the Leg signing, Greg? Are you happy with that? Or do you think it should have been more of a give it to Forbath and prove himself deal?
It strikes of certainly the money that Greg Zerline has signed for. It strikes that it's his job, but I replied to somebody in the group to say that, look, if Zerline goes through pre-season and he's questionable, they will drop him without hesitation, because they're not going to say goodbye to Forbath until week 1 of the regular season. They're not. I doubt they'll go into the season with 2 kickers, but they will have a kicking competition. And if Zerline is not if he's not up to scratch, don't sleep on them cutting him loose, because God, we all know we've had our kicking issues of late. So if there's any sniff of a competition, I wouldn't see Forbath out the door just yet.
I'm ironically, out of the 3 guys, right, I'm going to give this to you. That's going to really make you boil up. Is out of the 3 kickers that have been in the Cowboys, I'm not including a certain someone. We dare not say that kicker's name in this room. But out of the 3 kickers, Dan Bailey, Greg Zerline, and Kai Forbath, Dan Bailey had the better kicking percentage last season.
Yeah.
I still think it was Bailey's contract.
I think it may be a bit of contract, and I think perhaps the pressure being on the team got to him, and because that's what kicking is being able to deal with pressure. But another interesting one that Brian alluded to was something I'm going to ask our old friend Paul here about, because we know he's excited about this one. Dontari Poe. What do you think of that signing? What do you think of that?
Well, not just that, him and Gerard McCoy. We've got 2 massive defensive tackles now. But let's be honest, as much as I love Antoine Woods, but he is a really small defensive tackle. But the fact that we've got size that requires offensive linemen to hit them with the double team next to nearly every single play. It's just going to take off the pressure of likes of DeMarcus Lawrence and whoever who's going to be playing on the opposite side on the edge. So I'm really happy about it.
Yeah.
It's completely screwed up my prediction for the draft.
Yeah.
So Chris, you know what I've been saying? It's like, we need a defensive tackle all this whole draft. I said, you know what? I don't think we do now. I really don't.
Okay.
I think
that you just alluded to a question I was going to ask you, because I know one of your boys in this year's draft, the Canadian Bulldozer, Neville Gallimore, is he off your table? Is he off the table for you now?
If he's there in the second round, I'd still potentially take him. But if we have a higher need, but I would say we might even look at offensive line rather than defense, because obviously we've lost Travis. And we don't know, from looking at from how many offensive linemen have been banged up since the end of last season. It's like there's no harm getting any more O-line into the team that's going to contribute. So, but I think as much as it guts me to say that, I think I will need to let Galladay go.
Gallimore, yeah. He's on the draft table.
I can't thought it's the Jack Daniels.
Yeah, or maybe just not enough Jack Daniels.
The one thing I will say though is there doesn't seem to, barring centre obviously, there doesn't seem to be an absolute, oh my God, we must fill this position anymore. Maybe you could argue for corner,
Yes.
but I think with the addition of Clinton Dix, Poe, so on, we've kind of covered areas where it allows us to kind of wait on best player, as opposed to, the Cowboys are going to take X, so we need to jump up to 16 to stop that from happening. So it almost allows us to kind of say, right, do we like anybody here? And then we can start taking phone calls. The kind of only glaring need, I would say now, is centre. The centre position concerns me.
Okay, because I mean that was what I was going to ask you, Graham. You're all beating me to the questions, yeah.
We're on the ball. We're on the
ball. It's all about being on the ball. You're like we're all on the same page. I love it. With Clinton Dix, is safety off the table for you, Graham, at 17? Is the first question. No. Does, though, with Travis Frederick's retirement, and we're all very sad about that, obviously, does inside offensive line, say in this particular instance, safety, because I don't know if they perhaps move one of the guards to safety. I don't think I'd move Zach, though, for sure. He's definitely my right guy. He can stay there. Is inside offensive line a higher priority than safety now? Great.
I'm gonna sit on the fence here a little bit and say that this season, no.
Okay.
In terms of big picture, I would say that if Clinton Dix has the year that he wants to have, and we're all hoping that he does, I would say that he will demand big money in free agency because it's just a 1-year deal. Yeah. Our offensive line is starting to show a certain amount of crack in it that
agree.
We have no centre. We have a left tackle that will give you 13 games a year, which is short, especially in the NFC East with the Eagles pushing us now. The problem is you don't have a centre option, and it takes, for me this year, it's going to be drafting a tackle that kicks inside. If you do that, you take games away from Connor Williams. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing or not. I just think that for me, I think safety is looming. Even though we've got Clinton Dix, we could still add safety. I'm not answering this question very well because it is tough. But for me, there's a lot of moving parts if you go tackle because you still don't have the centre.
Yeah.
By drafting tackle, you maybe not. You maybe, do you know what? You maybe not bringing in a starter. You're maybe going to bring in somebody that's only going to play 5-6 games because by 17, you're thinking we're not going to get top 10 talent. Yeah. Would he unseat Smith? I don't think so. Would he might push Connor Williams, but again, you're looking at a bigger body if you want to play guard. And I think they might have gone by then. So if it was me, I would still prioritise safety. But it's a hugely valid question because the offensive line is beginning to crack.
I agree. Yeah. Do you agree with that, Bright? I mean, would you say now inside offensive line is priority over safety?
Yes, and I for every reason Graham has outlined, the line is starting to crack. We basically, I think after 2 years, we're still not sure what Connor Williams is. We're going to go into the season not knowing what Conor McGovern is as well. And that's potentially your left guard center combination, and with a very, very creaking left tackle, it leads to a lot of questions. So go on ahead, Paul.
Sorry, Brian, and that's the most important thing is the blind side. So and that's the stuff, and that's the side of the ball that we really want to focus on is give Dak Prescott as much protection as possible on the side that you can't look at. So sorry, Brian, I just thought I had that in there for you.
No, you're dead right. I mean, you're the defensive lineman. You know where these gaps are going to appear and how you're going to get at a quarterback. And you're right in exactly what you're saying. Like, we love to run the ball off the A gap off Zach Martin, but if we can't protect Dak Prescott from that left side, it's going to be impossible to hand the ball off to Zeke or to Tony Pollard to go through that A gap.
I think when it all boils down, our offensive line's been the heartbeat of the team, and to not look after that heartbeat would be dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as part of this week's show, if you guys have got nothing more to add on that one, I was going to add something there. It's like, is Ronald Leary still free?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
He's still available.
Because he plays in Cigar, he's a big boy. He can probably still do a good job for another year, even if it's just for a 1 year contract. Why not? Got nothing to lose. So yeah.
I did look up, and I don't think he started at centre. I think he filled in, but I don't know if he started at centre.
Because he definitely played on the left guard position beside Tyron.
Yeah, he was always a left guard. It was always Travis Frederick, and was Mackenzie Bernadou was the other
my boy.
Yeah. But I mean, like the thing, in terms of position wise, guard and centre, there's not much difference apart from the fact that basically a centre is a guard that just snaps the ball. I know there's a bit more to it than that, but in terms of body style, I mean, in terms of body style and what they actually do in terms of how they block it on the inside, I know there's a lot more to it in terms of they've got to know their slide protections and the rest of it and audibles. But I mean, based on what we're saying, then, are you guys saying that perhaps Joe Looney isn't the answer for this year?
Well, he's done a good job so far. I mean, he rightly deserves the extra contract extension or whatever it was he received. But the same as like a long term, we don't know. It depends what type of year he puts in for us. I mean, it's just a lot of questions in the air. We just don't know yet. And we don't know, especially now it's Mike McCarthy. It's no more Jason Garrett. We don't know if that's the type of offense that he wants to run. If you'll witness it, his coaches will analyse it. They'll see who's not pulling away in terms of the new scheme and that. Try to find the best fit for the new play calls. So we don't know. A lot of uncertainty.
What I will say is that I don't know how closely you guys have been watching it, but the Eagles are loading up on defensive line.
They've always have been.
They are stacked at defensive line.
How many years in a row have they drafted like a defensive lineman?
Yeah. But I tell you a sneaky one that literally, and everybody keeps forgetting about, who's sneaky on defensive line, the Redskins.
Yeah.
They are so underrated when it comes to their defensive line.
And they're likely to draft another one and Chase Young if that's the prediction.
Yeah, they're gonna go. Yeah.
So
it's get the D line.
Right. So and also, we'll screw the Giants, but but the Eagles and the Redskins, what are they going to do? They're going to go for the weaker side when they've got all that talent in their defensive lines. So this is where we really need to give a lot of TLC to our offensive line, make sure they're up to...
That you can cancel them out. Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, that's 6 games in the season. You know, if you take, I'm talking about all three teams here, but when you think they're playing two teams with good D lines, you need to have a good O line. But as we go into this show now, what we'll look at, based on just what we're saying, we're going to look at in the first round what would be a good trade up and a good trade down option for the Cowboys. Okay. So we'll go through a couple of scenarios, why we would do it. But I'll just get off you first of all, and I'll go in reverse order of how I did the last round. So on my alphabet is Paul. Quick alphabet work there. We go with Paul. Just as a brief, before we get into it too deep, we'll go trade up first. If you was for the Cowboys to trade up, now, bear in mind, there's a lot that goes into, the cost of trading up. If it was to trade up, what would be the maximum pick that you would
maximum
go?
positions going up?
Yeah. How high would you go before it becomes too expensive?
Well, looking based on the other teams as well, so this is kind of going to go to my reason behind it. I would say no more than 2.
You go as high as 2, or you're saying you'd only go up 2 spots?
Yeah, because I'm looking at the Denver Broncos right now, and they're most likely to draft a wide receiver.
Broncos, yeah,
whereas the Falcons, they're really dependent on an edge rush, and they could always do it in our corner as well. So if we can even beat them to that. That's probably the more easier way of, I want to say easier trade up scenario, but I would say that's probably the more likely scenario if something was that to happen. I mean, there is other teams I'm looking as well. There's San Francisco 4 places up. They could do with another wide receiver. Because whereas Tampa Bay, they're looking for more defensive tackle this time. So, but again, they could always go with more other defensive weapons as well. So, between 2 and 4, between 2 and 4 places, I can see it happening.
Yeah. What about you, Gray? Are you going any more than that, or would you say there's literally no scenario whatsoever in your mind you would ever trade up from 17?
From the discussion we've just had, the only kind of position I think I would be comfortable moving up for would be offensive tackle.
Okay.
And to do that, you're talking about, to get a premium one, I think you're talking about top 10, because you've got the Giants could take one, the Chargers could take one, Browns.
Yeah.
Cardinals.
So
I think the Bucks will go offensive tackle. Before us. I think they go offensive tackle.
To do that, you're gonna have to talk somebody out of not taking their guy. We don't necessarily have the ammunition. We don't have the ammunition for top 5, basically.
Yeah. Giving away something premium for it.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be comfortable trading into the top 10, and by then your top tier tackles, barring maybe maybe an Austin Jackson slips out. So if an Austin Jackson started to fall, and he got to maybe the 49ers at 13, maybe you pick up the phone then. But I'm not a huge fan of trading up in general, because I like to hold on to the future, if you know what I mean. So many times we've seen teams jump up, mortgage their futures, and I mean, the one I always go back to is the Robert Griffin trade. That set the Redskins back a long time, and he's not even in the league anymore. I mean, see, when you think that was 3 first-round picks to go and get Robert Griffin, that's a sore one.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge fan of trading up in general. If we were to trade up, I think it would be for offensive tackle. You could let safety will fall. We're in the safety area, corner. You've got plenty of opportunity. God, there's dozens of wide receivers.
Wide receivers is
Way
okay.
too many.
There isn't a running back, in my opinion.
No.
We have the franchise tag at QB. There isn't a centre. We've spent enough money on defensive line. So I don't see a position other than tackle to jump up for. And again, I'm going to say I don't know if the guy starts. I don't know if we got my guy, if we got Becton.
There we go.
If we got my boy. I mean that. See, we were to get a premium one. It's developing in my head. You could almost kick Collins inside because he started off at guard.
He did, but I think where he played last year, he was probably the best offensive lineman, and he was playing tackle.
Yeah. But this is the thing: you start looking to fill needs when you start moving pieces around. And that is going to be the worry, because there isn't a centre. I mean, there might be a centre in the third or fourth round. We might strike gold somewhere, but you're talking about moving a tackle inside the guard, and then if you want to keep the tackle on the outside, you start moving pieces, and assignments start changing, and guys on the right and left start changing, and it looks like a mess. So. I, if anything, I want to stick at 17. I don't think I'm not thrilled about going up for anybody.
Okay, for you then, Brian. For you, Brian, if you were to trade up in your particular, you're now the GM. How many places would you be willing to sacrifice to go up?
To just expand on what the guys said.
Yeah.
And I'll go in a slightly different direction with this. I'm looking at my second round pick, and that's only going to get me as high as 111. And that's with a slide over pay on our side.
Yeah.
So the only person I would move up for outside of Mekhi Becton, which I think could be the player of the draft.
Yeah.
If he was falling, is Jeffrey Okuda. But I can't see him falling that far.
No,
I really can't.
I can see him being top 5.
Yeah,
he should be. Yeah, like he's the only player, because I think we're starting to see the quarterbacks go. We're starting to see the offensive tackles go. I think 2 defensive tackles are going to go, and obviously Chase Young. So there's a possibility, but I don't think it's there, and I don't think we have the capital to do it.
Okay. No. All right then. Now I'm going to give you some scenarios, and tell me, in this particular scenario, would you trade up? Okay. So we've had. You right there, Brian?
Yeah. Just plugging in the laptop.
Right. So what we'll do is we'll look at offensive tackle first of all, right, guys? So we've got the 4 top offensive tackles, right? I think after that, outside the top 4, once you go down past whichever order you go in for the number 5 offensive tackle, whether it's Josh Jones, Prince Tega, could be any of those guys. I think after, once you get past the 4, the next group of guys are second rounders, because they're definitely developmental tackles, right? So in this particular instance, in this scenario, okay, Jedrick Wills has gone. Tristan Wirfs has gone. Yeah. And Andrew Thomas is off the board as well. So you're left with Mekhi Becton, right? Right? It is at the 49ers at 13. Okay? Right? The 49ers put their pick in. Okay? And it turns out to be a corner. Let's say Christian Fulton. Okay, Scooter went to the Lions at 3. Now you're at the Bucks, right? At 14. So we're going So we were talking that 2 to 4 range, right? Now, in this instance, the Bucks are quite O-line hungry, I would say. Yeah, they've got a 50-year-old quarterback as well that needs to be back.
Well, let's be honest, they need everything that they could get right now.
They need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback. In this instance, I mean, you could say the Bucks would go possibly running back because they've got no running back either.
Not in the first round, I don't think they would.
No.
Too high.
In this instance, we've had 3 of the top 4 offensive linemen go off the board, and we're left with the 4th good one, right? Who is quite a lump. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be Mackie Beckman. It could be any one of the top 4, but we'll use him for now because I think we're all in. We quite like him. At this instant, at the Bucks, are you trading up?
If it's within 4 places, yeah, I would.
Because you don't want to lose him at this stage. Would you be willing to trade up? Right? That's just the first question. We'll get to what we would trade for in a moment, but would you trade up at this stage? No? No, Brian?
No. No.
No, well, actually, more you think about it, no, I wouldn't actually, because I still feel as though defense has got a more higher need.
Okay. Do you, Greg?
Think about who's left at corner when you give away your 2nd round pick. Because if you go up for Becton, you're then looking at 3rd round wide receiver.
Mackay Becton, right? Okay. But we're giving you the benefit of the doubt because we love you guys. Do you want to make the trade? We are going to take it if you don't trade it.
What's the price?
This is the next question, right? So.
well, I'm going to return the question. If they're the ones that's phoning you, then I would offer a minimum. If that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, we're just going hypothetical here.
Yeah.
Saying, so what would you then, Greg? Because the other 2, at this stage, it's off the table. Brian is a hard no. Paul is somewhere in the middle, and you're teetering the other way. So at this stage, to trade up, what would you be willing to trade up for that spot?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of their needs. Because, like I said before, if you give up your 2nd, it's a long time.
Giving up. You definitely be giving up.
It's a long time. Despite it being a deep wide receiver draft, you're well over 100 picks by the time they call our name again. So, let's see. Just looking to see who they've added. All their additions so far have been on defense, barring Haig and Brady. So they're loaded. Well, you say loaded. They're supplemented in defense.
Okay, so are we in this particular instance then? We wouldn't be moving for Mackay for or any of the top 4 offensive tackles at this stage.
I say that because I say that they've added on defense in free agency because by adding all those pieces in defense, it makes their position stronger to take a tackle.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily need to bulk up with a defensive pick, so it's going to be expensive. Do you know what? As much as he's my guy, I wouldn't go any. I mean, I could offer them something stupid in return, but it's going to take at least a 2nd round pick. It's going to take something like a 2nd round pick, or
they'll want a 1st round from the next year as well.
That low down.
No.
Do you think so?
I know you're saying no, Brian, but I'm just imagining what the Bucks would want Like, I'm just saying, like, it's not going to
Yeah.
happen, obviously, but I could see, like, say, Big Bruce and whatever the guy's name is from Tampa Bay, like that. Oh, it'll be like a classic day at draft day, but Jerry's no mug, so...
Yeah. Like, I'm looking at this, right, and I have Jamie Johnson's trade chart here in front of me.
Yeah,
for draft picks,
Ooh.
right?
Always
The
good.
points differential between 17 and 14 is 150 points,
Yes.
which is a late third rounder.
Yeah.
So if they came to us and said, we're going to take Mekhi Becton unless you want him, and they named the price of a second round, I'm saying good luck. Good luck. Keep going. You can take him.
Mhm.
Because it's way too
would
much
you
to
do
give
it
up
for
a
a
second
third
round
then,
pick.
Brian? Would you do it for a third if they said, give us your third?
I do it for a third so long as we're getting something back as well. And I'd be looking at, like, we're so poor for picks this year. I'd be looking for a sixth back. You know, you might get something of a sixth, because even if we do give up our third, it's still an overpay of about 40 points.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's for me worth getting a 6th round pick off them. Whether they want to do it or not, that's the kind of things I'd be looking for.
Yeah,
Does that work for you,
I would
Greg?
agree.
Does that work for you? A third and you get a six back?
I would agree with Brian.
Yeah.
I would take that trade, but they won't offer that.
Yeah.
No,
They won't. They
no,
won't
no,
offer it.
definitely not.
That's
Which
basic.
I find that teams that jump up for somebody,
You have to overpay.
they have to overpay, because but on the other hand, they've fallen in love with a guy, so they see him as a key area of the team that fills a need. I think it's a glaring need. If you're jumping up into the top 5, top 10, you have a hole in your team, and you see that guy is plugging a huge hole, because see if he doesn't, you're stuffed.
Just as something to add on to your Mitchell Trubisky trade, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
One place, and look what they gave up for.
Yeah.
But I mean that
Not
was
worth it.
that was
Not
two,
worth it.
that was in fact two teams playing off each other there. Very that was actually quite clever by the 49ers what they did. They played, I think it was the Jags at the time. They played them to make that jump. But I'll give you another scenario then, guys. Because we're saying that unless it's a third round and something back, that's off the table. So we agree corner is quite important.
Very.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey Kuda, he has gone to the Lions in this case.
Mm-hmm.
The other corner, he's gone off the board as well. I haven't figured out who he's going off to, but he's off the board as well. So Fulton's gone as well, right? Now it gets to the Broncos. The Broncos haven't put their pick in yet, right? And CJ Henderson is still on the board. Now the Falcons could very well take, because I think they need corner too. They could very well take him. In this instance, would you, as the Cowboys GM, jump and take the Broncos pick?
Yes.
Yes, Brian, would you?
No.
No, Graham.
This is the Broncos pick at 8.
No.
The Broncos pick at 15.
15.
They're two picks.
Places.
But the Falcons are corner desperate, and we've had two of the top corners go off the board already. So basically, what you would be left with at this particular point is you'd be left with your next top two are CJ Henderson and Jeff Gladney.
Don't forget Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs, yeah, I think you could go get him in the second mind. Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But would you, Graham, would you make that trade to jump the Falcons, switch places with the Broncos, so you get your CJ Henderson or your Jeff Gladney before the Falcons?
Nah.
No?
Nah. Because
Okay.
So, cornerback's a funny thing because you're only as good as your weakest player. So, do you get what I mean? Like, if you go and get an absolute stud on the left and you've nobody on the right, your stud's not going to do you much good. You see what I mean? So,
yeah.
I'm comfortable taking somebody that falls, but I can't remember what draft it was, but we took somebody in the second and we took somebody in the third or the fourth, and the later pick turned out to be the starter. Do you know what? It might have been
2017.
It might have been,
Cheeto and Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Nah. If they want to take a corner at 17, fine, but not jumping up to get one. Nah.
All right. So, being our in-house guy, the only one out the trio there who said yes, I'm sticking with Paul here. He said he would trade up. What would you be willing to trade up for that position? How many points is the differential there, Brian?
100.
100 points. So what would you be willing to give away to switch positions with the Broncos?
Sorry, guys.
You're okay.
Just had music blaring in my ear for randomly up.
Singing.
So you're. What am I willing to trade up?
Yeah,
Obviously,
you're 100 points difference there. And remember, you will have to overpay. The Broncos know this.
Obviously, swapping the pick for the first round. Third round, possibly, but I would probably more look towards maybe giving something up for the following year.
Yeah, that would probably be about way to go.
So maybe a third round next year. I don't see. I'm not entirely too sure, to be honest, but as long as we're not giving away too much picks.
Like if we look at it this way, right? The points differential is 100. Our third round pick is worth 180. So there's a difference of 80 points.
You're going to have to overpay, though, remember.
You're going to have to overpay. So you might be able to get their fourth rounder off them. You might.
I can't.
But to be very optimistic.
Yeah, I can't see that. You would be giving up. So in that case, to make that skip, right, you would have to give up your third round. Possibly they could buy a third round next year. That could work. Yeah. They might be willing to buy that. Yeah. But you'd be giving up that third round. So does that sit happy with you there then? No?
You definitely know how to
stick with your guns. Stick with your guns, Paul. Stick with your guns. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll flip it round, if you like, then. Right, going off the same scenario, but this is what we've got this time, right? So we'll look at trade down options, okay?
I've got one for you as well for trading down. I'll let you go on, mate. Sorry.
You're all right. So the Cowboys are on the clock, all right? And it's been a stormer because a lot of people ahead of us were offensive heavy. A lot of quarterbacks going off early. There was a sneaky few running backs that came in early, and then the rest was defense. It now gets to the Cowboys. And we'll go because we've been talking offensive line. I think we're in agreement there that it's quite important. So it's at the Cowboys. Both Mekhi Becton and Tristan Wirfs are available.
Oh, you bad man. Bad man.
Go on then, Gray. Right. Hit us with it. You trade down, and how far down would you be willing to trade?
Well, again, is somebody willing to be stupid? You know, is somebody willing to...
Miami?
Yeah.
No. they're right behind us.
Yeah,
Aren't
but
they?
they still be stupid enough to trade up.
No,
For an offensive tackle, yeah, I think they would be stupid enough to trade up with us. You're right, Paul.
So how far down would you be willing to trade down? And bear in mind, at this stage, if you trade down in this instance with 2 offensive tackles still available, you'll be getting that team's this year's second round pick. Easy. So how far down would you be willing to go? Bear in mind, the further down you go, the more you get.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look at all the other teams that.
looking at the teams behind us. The Dolphins could easily go tackle if they
They will
take
go tackle,
Tua.
I think. Yeah. So they would take
Mhm.
one of the 2. So then
Seahawks,
after that,
Brian-
Seahawks.
Brian Bulaga left the
Yeah.
Packers. The Packers could go easily go tackle.
So would you say then you'd want to get at least in between, like say no further down than the Patriots? Would that be okay for you guys? Patriots pick 23.
Yeah.
Who else is on the board?
Like after us.
Well,
What other players are available?
Yeah.
Another trade down option in a moment. But if there's 2 tackles on the board, then guys, would you be willing at that point to trade down? Maybe not. We won't look at how far we trade down. Would you be willing? I suppose.
Here's my idea. If all our defensive fours have already been picked, and the best player available that we do really need is offensive tackle, then obviously we will probably look to see what other teams are willing to offer stupid returns. But I can honestly, I don't know why, but I keep looking at the Dolphins, even though they're just 1 pick behind us. Like, because you know what Jerry's like.
Take one of those tackles if there was 2 available left. So that would leave you with 1 left.
Right. Okay.
But would you trade down, Greg? It doesn't matter how far down. In that particular instance, in that scenario, would you trade down?
Right. Here's a scenario. Right.
He's hypotheticalizing the hypothetical.
If the Ravens, right, and I'll tell you why the Ravens in a minute, but say the Ravens decided to bulk up on offense.
Yeah, I see where you're going. Yeah.
They decided to get another weapon in there.
Mm-hmm.
That still keeps us ahead of the Eagles with a 36-year-old Jason Peters. If Becton fell, he wouldn't go any further past the Eagles, I don't think. So I would be prepared to fall to 20 because I think the Raiders going to Las Vegas. They'll want to make a splash. Tackles aren't sexy. The Dolphins would
take one.
Dolphins would take one, and I think moving to 20 would probably keep us all right for the second.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I'm looking at one of the mock drafts, and this is completely different to offensive line. So we've actually been. Who wrote this one? Actually, it's from CBS. It's by Ryan Wilson. So he's got us trading with Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Right. So they move up to draft a quarterback. They've went for Jordan Love, and next pick, Dolphins have signed Josh Jones, offensive line.
Yeah.
Then Raiders, wide receiver, make a splash. Then it comes to us somehow, and I'll be amazed if this was to happen. Christian Fulton lands in 20.
Well, this was going to be my next one then. Let's go with that, right? That it's now at the Cowboys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've now got the reverse. Okay, it's at the Cowboys. Christian Fulton, CJ Henderson, still available. At that point, would you guys then... I'll go with you, Bri, on this one first. We'll work around. Would you be willing to trade down there then?
Yeah, I would. Very
Would you
easily,
say
like
pretty much a pretty smooth sailing for cornerback from that point.
yeah, it would be because, as we say, the Dolphins behind us are going to go offensive tackle. The Raiders are going to make splash. They're going to go wide receiver, or something sexy. I could see them going safety, looking for a Grant Delpit, a Xavier McKinney kind of pick.
That's one of the other ones I'm looking at.
Yeah. Jags again. They need offensive line help. So I think you could,
they
you could drop as far as the Eagles, if you had one of those tackles on the board, drop to 21, pick up a second round pick, and you're still getting the cornerback that you want.
I don't know, because I think Eagles could do with they could do with wide receiver as well, but wide receivers being so deep, I think they would go wide receiver second round, linebacker first. But what about you, Craig? Do you like that idea? Do you like if Christian Fulton, CJ Henderson are still on the board? I mean, let's check in Jeff Gladney. He's available too. Are you happy at that stage to trade down?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be an ideal scenario. If Christian Fulton is still available for us at 17, I think that's a pretty solid way to go there, don't you think?
Mm.
Yeah. It I'm not set on, like, I like the idea of, they call it staying at home, where you just let the draft come to you. If somebody was to fall to 17, and you think we can't let him fall any further, but I like the idea of trading down. I always think, especially in the first round, because on draft night, how many times have you looked at the team giving up the pick and the team moving into the pick, and you see the current pick on one side, and you see they gave up this, that, and this, and you think, God, wouldn't we like all those picks? So to trade down with those options, I think trading down would be a strong possibility. Yeah, because I don't know if they're set on anybody in particular. Because 17 is it's a nice position to be in, because you look at somebody that's fallen. Still allows you to jump up ahead of somebody. So I think the phone will ring on draft night.
Definitely. I mean,
and
the big thing about
it wouldn't be the first time.
Ray, I'm interrupting.
It wouldn't be the first time that Mike McCarthy's moved down in the draft. God. You sit on draft night, you see the Packers trading down all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to reiterate onto your point as well, that 17 for the Cowboys this year is quite handy, especially with what you see is before, like what the team needs are before the Cowboys. So a lot is going to get filtered down to the Cowboys. So I think trading down is going to be more of a thing than trading up.
Yep.
Purely on the basis you think there's going to be quarterbacks coming off the board, running backs coming off the board, linebackers coming off the board, which basically means that all those players are filtering down that the Cowboys need are at 17, which is quite handy. So it puts the Cowboys, especially there, quite a nifty position. But I will finish off with this particular one. Is there any possible scenario, knowing what we know with the Cowboys with wide receiver and what the class is like, is there any particular scenario where the Cowboys land at 17 in a position where there are wide receivers left on the board for them to trade down? So I know it's unlikely, but let's say for argument's sake, in this particular case, Jerry Judy's still available at 17. I know it's unlikely. Or say even Henry Ruggs, right? A lot of people say Henry Ruggs is a player they'd love to see the Cowboys. Is there and I'll go with you, Paul, because I can see what you know. Is there a chance that Henry Ruggs is available at 17? They don't take him and trade down purely on the basis he's there. Go.
Eagles and Vikings, one of the mock drafts I'm just looking at just now are both going for Ruggs and T. Higgins.
Yep.
So so I could probably even see they two, like, if they're really desperate to, like, it'd be a battle between Vikings and Eagles to see what receiver they would want. They could probably move that much further up with us in terms of needs. So that's a nice scenario that we could look to as well. And yeah, so and that's on pick number 22.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. Also, there's they might want to compete with the Raiders as well, because they could do with a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So even the Eagles trade up with us and they get our pick and beat the Raiders. So there's a bit of a freeway battle in terms of the wide receivers there.
Yeah. Does that work for you, Brian? Say, for instance, there's Ruggs still on the board, knowing what's after us, but knowing what that class is like. Would you be
all over it?
Are you making you're making phone calls to see what you?
No. I think if you have a Henry Ruggs or a CD Lamb still available at 17, I think the phone is going to burn up. I think the phone will absolutely burn up with offers. Absolutely. And I think you're going to be in a position where you're going to go, I have the Eagles on the line, they're offering me a second. Sorry, there's the Raiders, they're offering me a first. I think we have it all in our laps. Yeah. You know, like I'm kind of looking.
And only just on top of that, I would not offer the Eagles the satisfaction of giving them our pick.
I think when it comes to if you ever trade with anyone in your own division, you have to make them super overpay. But does that work for you, Greg? Yeah. Would that work for you in that particular case?
You have to be very careful, because if we do chat with the Eagles and Ruggs goes to Philadelphia, he could skin us for the next 8 years. I'll also
well, if he gets injured.
I also think if Al Davis was still with us and Ruggs falls to 17, oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean,
very true.
If Al Davis is still with us, Henry Ruggs is the first overall pick.
Apart from a punter.
Yeah. You got to take a punter first.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that ever happened.
Joking aside, I think with us getting Cooper done, wide receiver is very, very, very low. If I get the talent is there, but like you say, the phone's going to be red hot at that point, and it's going to be too tempting to turn down. If we were to say we were offered a second and a fourth for, I don't know, say the Panthers wanted to jump up ahead of the Raiders, because I struggle to name a Panthers wide receiver right now. I think they've
Christian McCaffrey.
Well, they've hemorrhaged talent.
Literally.
The Panthers would have to trade a hell of a lot to move up.
That'll be a future first.
But it's going to be because the Vikings go receiver, Eagles.
So there's like we said, there's Raiders, Eagles, Vikings. Who else?
Saints.
But potentially.
But like Brian was saying,
I think they'll get something in the second. I think.
Like Brian was saying, there's going to be so many offers flying at that point. If that level of talent is there, there's going to be so many phone calls made, and you're just thinking, right, this Ruggs could be the difference maker for somebody who wants to take that chance, because somebody will do it. Somebody will.
Yeah.
If he
I can definitely see it being more like Minnesota because they've just lost Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
They've only got Adam Thielen. They've only got him really, so they definitely need a wide receiver, regardless. And the way how it's kind of if like you said, if CB Lamb was still there available, it would not surprise me if we getting a phone call from Minnesota. It's like, right, what do you want? What do you want? Like, what's a fair offer for you guys? Like, and Jerry will be like, it's time for some barbecue, boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, but I think that will tie everything up for this week on trade down options, just to give people some ideas out there. So obviously, when you're watching this show, if you've got ideas of what you guys would be willing to do to trade up or trade down and who it would be for, let us know. Obviously as well, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the podcast, Spotify,
Instagram,
wherever it is, it's everywhere.
All the platforms.
Yeah. We've got some more news coming for you about UK Cowboys next week, so keep an eye out on that. Very interesting. I'm sure you'll be quite happy. There are obviously in the pipeline special guests we got lined up, but I'm sure people watching will understand with the way things are at the moment. Special guests have got other priorities, other things going on, so bear with us. We will try and organise and sort things out, but these things take time. The way things are at the moment with the, as we call it, the C-bomb. But thank you very much for joining us this week. Thank you to Paul, Graham and Brian. Thank you very much for joining us, guys, giving us your ideas and insights. And we will see you all again next week for another episode of UK Cowboys TV. How about them Cowboys, guys? Stay phenomenal.
See you next time.
See you guys.
Good luck.